All right, diving into Daniel Priestley's 24 assets today. You're looking for the real actionable stuff, not just the theory. Building a remarkable business, that's the goal. So let's see what Priestley's got.
It's interesting. His approach isn't the usual profit-focused one. He's all about building a business that almost runs itself, all thanks to the right assets, especially these days with everything going digital.
When he says assets, does he mean the usual stuff like property, equipment, or is there a digital angle to this?
He talks about both, but the digital assets are key. Think content, your brand, even the data you gather. Those can scale like crazy, create value in ways traditional assets just can't.
So it's less about just working hard and more about working smart, building the right things.
Yeah, exactly. Priestley has this line about the best salespeople, they can only extract value if there's actual value there to begin with. And today, that valuable stuff, it's often digital. A great product isn't enough anymore. You need the digital assets to back it up, amplify it, make it really stand out.
That's where his entrepreneur journey model comes in, right? The 9 stages of business growth. I'm guessing digital assets play a big part in each one.
Oh, absolutely. He uses these stages to show how focusing on or failing to focus on asset development can make or break you. He starts with startup. Tons of passion, but often no assets to turn that passion into actual income. Engine, but no fuel,
This is where people get trapped in that struggling boutique stage. I remember you mentioning that.
Exactly. Small team, everyone's hustling, but revenue per person is just too low. Lots of effort, but not the kind of value that creates real freedom or growth. He contrasts that with the lifestyle boutique, where a small team uses digital assets to get way higher revenue per person. Then you're not just surviving, you're actually, living the dream.
Then there's this desert phase. Sounds kind of scary.
It can be. It's that scaling stage. You've outgrown the boutique, but you haven't built the assets for real power yet. Too big for one thing, too small for another. Without strong assets, lots of businesses just get stuck there. Overheads go up, profits shrink. It's a tough spot.
And you don't get out of that desert. You end up as, the factory?
Sadly, yeah. High headcount, low revenue per person, always scrambling just to make payroll. Total opposite of his performance business, where a skilled team uses those high-quality assets to get both scale and profitability.
Okay, so the journey really highlights why those assets are so important. But Priestley also takes on this passive income thing, right? Everyone seems to be after that these days.
He completely dismantles it. He says chasing passive income leads people down the wrong path. Get rich quick schemes, investing in things they don't care about, more work, less reward, the opposite of what you want.
So what's the alternative? How do we actually build these valuable assets, the kind that lead to real lasting success?
He gives a 4-step process. Starts with discovery of value, not just finding something you like, but where your passion, what people value, and what's actually commercially viable all line up. You might love underwater basket weaving, but if there's no market for it, no income.
I remember you mentioned Priestley would test his ideas. Presenting them and seeing how many people signed up on the spot. Pretty gutsy way to validate something before you invest too much time and money.
Totally. Getting real-world feedback right away. Then the second step is oversubscribed value.
That's when you've got something so valuable you actually have to turn customers away because you can't keep up with demand. Good problem to have.
The best one means you're not just creating value, you're creating influence. That's the third step, oversubscribed influence. Priestley says real influence comes from mastering 5 things: pitching, publishing, products, your profile, and partnerships.
So you can't just be good. You have to get the word out, build a network that amplifies your message.
Exactly. When you get that right, you hit the 4th step, performance. High revenue per person, you can scale, stay profitable, and handle whatever changes the market throws at you. That's when things really take off.
This is making a lot of sense. But you also mentioned a mindset shift. Moving from profit and loss thinking to a balance sheet approach. What does that look like in practice?
See, most small businesses get stuck in that profit and loss mindset, always focused on immediate income, immediate expenses, short-term view that can really hurt your long-term asset building. Balance sheet thinking is about building a business with inherent value that's there no matter what the day-to-day income or expenses are doing.
He actually uses his own story to show this, right? Built a very successful events company, but it all crashed in 2009.
Yeah, that was a big lesson for him, making millions, but he didn't actually own the core assets that would keep things stable when things went bad.
So he was basically a middleman, reliant on other people's products, their brands. When the economy went down, his model fell apart. Big lesson. in owning your assets.
Huge lesson. And that's what led him to create this whole 24 assets framework. He thinks it's the key to building a business that's not just successful, but truly resilient. He even tells the story about the Mustat family. Back in the 70s, they found a lost Van Gogh painting just sitting in their attic. They had no idea this valuable asset was right there. Priestley's point is that many businesses have hidden assets, things that could be generating huge value if they were just identified and used properly. It's about changing your thinking from what can I sell today to what can I build that will have lasting value.
Okay, so we know assets are key. The entrepreneur journey shows why they matter at each stage. We've debunked the passive income myth, and we've got a better, more proactive way to build assets. And we talked about that balance sheet mindset. But what are these 24 assets? How do they actually work together to build a truly remarkable business?
Let's unpack those 24 assets. This is where it gets really good. All right. So these 24 assets, they're split into 7 categories: intellectual property, brand, market, product, systems, culture, and then funding. Each category has like 3 or 4 specific assets you want to be developing. Pretty comprehensive framework, yeah.
Okay, so let's break it down. Starting with intellectual property, what kind of assets are we talking about here?
Priestley says it's all about content, methodology, and registered intellectual property. Content is king, especially now, in the digital world. We're talking blogs, videos, your podcast, even anything that teaches, entertains, or inform your audience.
I used to just think of content as like a marketing tool. But you're right. If it's good, if it really resonates with people, it becomes a real asset, bringing in new customers, building that trust, generating leads for years.
Exactly. And it scales so well, using on different platforms, reach a wider audience, all without starting from scratch every time. Then there's methodology. This is about putting a system to your unique approach, your process, the thing you do differently that makes you stand out.
Like Google's search algorithm, right? Basically a secret methodology, and it's turned them into, the biggest search engine there is. Perfect example of how a methodology becomes a crazy valuable asset.
Exactly. Then, of course, you've got registered intellectual property, trademarks, patents, copyrights, all that. Legal protection for your unique ideas, inventions, creative work.
Super important if you ever think about selling your business later on. Investors, buyers, they want to see that your IP is locked down.
For sure. Now, moving on to brand assets. We've got philosophy, identity, and ambassadors. Brand philosophy, that's like the soul of your brand, right? Values, vision, the stuff that drives everything you do.
Like, think of Apple or Nike, strong philosophies that influence everything. Product design, their marketing, the whole thing.
And then there's brand identity, how your brand looks, feels, sounds, the logo, colors, fonts, even the tone of voice you use, all that stuff that makes you instantly recognizable.
Consistency is key there, right? Your brand should feel the same on your website, social media, even a physical store, if you have one.
Absolutely. And then ambassadors. People who embody your brand values help you reach new folks.
Could be celebrities, influencers, experts in your field, even your own employees. Aligning yourself with the people who represent what your brand is all about.
Priestley uses that example, George Clooney for Nespresso. Perfect choice to take them from just another coffee machine to this, sophisticated gotta-have-it product.
Great example. All right, market assets. Positioning, channels, and data. Positioning is all about finding that unique space in the market, right? So you're not just another commodity.
Yeah, you got to answer that question. Why should customers choose you? Why not someone else?
And Priestley talks about focusing on awards, accreditations, associations, testimonials, all those things that establish you as a leader in your space.
Spot on. Then you have channels, the ways you reach your customers.
Website, social media, email list, partnerships, even traditional media, if that works for you.
Yeah.
Having multiple ways to get your message out there.
And finally, data. Understanding your customers, it's more important now than ever. Collecting and analyzing that information about your audience so you can personalize your marketing, tailor your products, anticipate what they need.
Like how Amazon recommends products you might like, or Netflix suggests movies. They're using data to create that personalized, more engaging experience. Powerful stuff.
For sure. Okay, product assets. We've got gifts, products for prospects, your core product, and products for clients. Gifts are free, no strings attached. Provide value, show off what you can do.
Like a free ebook, a webinar, maybe a helpful checklist. Giving away something valuable up front builds trust, attracts new customers.
Yes, products for prospects, those are low cost. Give people a taste of how you can help them.
So maybe a paid workshop, a course online, even a consultation. Low barrier to entry so people can see what you're all about.
Then there's your core product, the main revenue generator. the product or service you're known for, the heart of the business, really.
And that's where you go all in on delivering incredible value.
And finally, products for clients. These are the extras designed to enhance the experience, keep that revenue coming in.
Like software companies offering support, or gyms with personal training sessions, continuing to provide value even after the initial sale.
Priestley is big on having all 4 product types working together, like an ecosystem. Drives consistent revenue, builds those long-term relationships with your customers.
Makes a lot of sense. You need something to attract them, something to convert them, something for your main revenue, and something to keep them coming back. It's a cycle.
Exactly. Okay, let's talk systems assets now. We've got marketing and sales systems, management and administration systems, and operations systems.
Systems, this is all about those efficient, repeatable processes, right?
Yeah.
Streamlining your operations.
You got it. Marketing and sales systems, those are all about automating and optimizing your lead generation, your sales processes.
Email sequences, your CRM, even your sales scripts, if you use those, making your marketing and sales efforts way more effective, more efficient.
Management and administration systems, that's about keeping the business running smoothly behind the scenes.
Accounting software, project management tools, all your communication platforms. You need systems to manage your money, track your progress, keep everyone on the same page.
And then you have your operations systems. This is how you actually deliver your products or services, making sure it's consistent, making sure it's a good experience for everyone.
You know, the way Uber has changed transportation with their super smooth, efficient operations. Great example of that in action.
Totally. From booking to tracking your driver to payment, Uber's created this experience that's easy to use and incredibly reliable.
So we've done intellectual property, brand, market, product, and systems. Now, culture. What assets do we need to be thinking about when it comes to building a strong company culture?
So for culture, Priestley focuses on key people of influence, then your sales and marketing folks, management and administration, and your technicians. Key people of influence, these are the leaders, the mentors. They set the tone for the whole company culture.
These are the people living your values, inspiring the team, attracting that top talent.
Then there's your sales and marketing team. They're the face of your brand to the outside world. They bring in the business.
It's so important to have a sales and marketing culture that matches your brand, your values. You want a team that's passionate about what you do, excited to share your message.
And then management and administration, creating that culture of efficiency, support, it's key.
You want managers who are organized, who respond quickly, and focus on helping their team members do their best work.
Then your technicians, the people with those specialized skills to deliver your product, your service.
You got to create a culture where they feel valued, where they're supported, but also challenged to keep growing those skills.
Priestley's point is, a strong culture comes from having the right people in the right roles, all working together towards that shared vision.
It's about an environment where everyone feels valued, respected, and inspired to contribute their best.
Brings us to the last category, funding assets. We've got your business plan, valuation, structure, and then risk mitigation.
Funding assets, these are all about making your business attractive to investors, lenders, all that.
Your business plan, that's the roadmap, right? Goals, strategies, your financial projections, all laid out.
A good business plan is essential, both for securing funding and for guiding your growth.
Valuation is about figuring out what your business is actually worth. Crucial for attracting investment and negotiating fair deals.
You got to be able to show the value you've built, make a strong case for why your business is a good investment.
Structure is having the right legal, financial setup to support your growth, protect what you've built.
Like incorporating, setting up the right ownership structure, clear agreements with investors, partners, all of that.
And finally, risk mitigation. Identifying those potential threats to your business, minimizing your exposure, protecting your investments.
Things like insurance, making sure you have multiple income streams, having a solid legal team.
Priestley says strong funding assets are critical if you want to scale your business, achieve that long-term success.
All right, so we've looked at all 24 assets across those 7 key areas. Incredibly thorough framework for building a valuable, sustainable business. But Priestley also talks about creating assets that aren't just good, they're remarkable. What does that even mean, and how do you actually get to that level? So how do we go from good to remarkable? Is there some secret, some magic formula?
Priestley's not big on magic formulas, but he does have this interesting test. He calls it the 90-day yachting test.
A yachting test. Okay, you got to tell me more about that.
Imagine this. You're sailing off on a 90-day yacht trip. Barely any contact with the outside world. Would your business still be running, still be thriving because of the assets you've built? Would they keep working? even without you there.
I like that. Really puts things into perspective. So would my YouTube videos still be getting views? Would my books still be selling? Would my website still be bringing in leads? If the answer is yes, then those are remarkable assets.
Exactly. It's about going beyond just, good enough, pushing for something exceptional that makes a real difference, keeps delivering value, even when you're not there actively managing it.
He also talks about this difference between assets for a lifestyle business versus a performance business. There's a distinction there, right?
There is. Priestley gets that the type of assets you need depends on your goals. If you're after that lifestyle business, freedom, flexibility, you might be able to use simpler tools to create your assets. But a performance business, one you want to scale, maybe sell one day for a lot of money, you got to invest in building those remarkable assets.
So for performance, no cutting corners, no trying to do it all yourself. You're bringing in the best people, best resources to build those top tier assets.
Right, and that's where his idea of suppliers as assets comes in. He wants entrepreneurs to see their suppliers, designers, developers, marketers, lawyers, whoever, as partners in building those assets.
So not just vendors you hire for a job, but an extension of your team.
Exactly. He actually talks about some of his own suppliers in the book, how their expertise was crucial for him to build remarkable assets. It's a cool way to look at it, especially for entrepreneurs who often feel like they got to do everything themselves.
Definitely. So we've covered building remarkable assets, but what about the process of creating them? Is it just coming up with a good idea and then running with it?
It's a little more involved than that. He has this asset creation cycle. Starts with, that initial idea, but he says don't get too attached too early. Ideas without execution, they're worthless.
Easy to get excited about a new idea,
Yeah.
but actually turning it into a real asset, that takes work.
He breaks it down into stages. Developing a beta, getting feedback, refining it, and then eventually launching a commercial version. But it doesn't stop there. He says keep iterating, keep improving, until you have something truly remarkable.
So it's that commitment to always improving, always pushing for better. That's what separates the good from the remarkable.
Couldn't have said it better myself. He uses this martial arts analogy. You can dabble in different styles, but you won't reach black belt level until you pick one and commit to mastering it. Same with business. Choose your path, go deep, even when it's hard, even when you want to quit.
And he talks about the environment you're in, the people you surround yourself with.
Huge. He's a big believer in surrounding yourself with people who challenge you, who inspire you, who keep you accountable. The right environment gives you the support, the resources, the motivation to push through those tough times and achieve something remarkable.
He even lays out these 4 key elements of a high-performance environment. Access to mentors, to experts, access to current best practices, having a peer group that expects high standards, and then external accountability, like a blueprint for setting yourself up for success.
And this all ties back to his point about those great waves of change happening in the world. Globalization, millennials disrupting things, automation, government austerity, systems collapsing even. It's a reminder that the business world's always changing. We got to be adaptable, innovative, he says, become a surfer who can ride those waves instead of getting wiped out.
So it sounds like he's saying we need to become key people of influence ourselves. People who are known, liked, trusted in their industry.
Exactly. And that's where those 24 assets come full circle. When you've got that strong base of assets, you're better equipped to handle those changes, grab those opportunities, and make a real difference.
It all comes back to those assets, doesn't it?
It really does. And Priestley ends with a question, a powerful one. What is your asset zero?
Asset zero, he describes it as your driving force, your passion, your purpose, the thing that fuels everything you do, even beyond just making money.
The thing that gets you up in the morning, keeps you going when things get tough. That's what defines your legacy, ultimately.
Big question for us all to think about. What is your asset zero? What really drives you? What kind of mark do you want to leave on the world? Think about that. Until next time.